Don't live life on cruise. It's amazing at times. I know that there are times where some of us want to stay out of the way. We're tired of people talking about us, telling lies, stretching the truth, misunderstanding us, misjudging our intents. And then we just want to stay out of the way and put ourselves in cruise. Well, God never called you to be on cruise, because when you go on cruise, people will discount the person's your abilities. They'll discount the persons you've rubbed shoulders with. They'll discount the rooms that you've been in. They'll discount the many achievements that you've achieved. They'll discount the entire promise of your life, because they're looking at the outward appearance. Preach, Steve. They're looking at what they see. They don't know that inside of you is a great big old giant, and you just took a season or two or three to just be on cruise. Now you have people that shouldn't be even in the same conversation of abilities with you looking down on you, because you're on cruise when God called you to be drive and move forward. That's the word of the Lord in your life. Drive and move forward. It's time to come out of cruise. It's time to put yourself in gear. It's time to race for the heights, speed through every roadblock that life sends, and turn every roadblock in your life into a glory crossing. I'm speaking this word to you that the Bible says, whoa, and that's not just telling a horse to stop. He said, whoa, W-O-E, to them who are at ease in Zion. I'm speaking this word. It's time to come out of cruise. Put it in the gear. Get alert. Start watching. Don't just sit back and live life like it's in a hammock when God's calling you to so much. In these vital times, in this last hour, God can ill afford his best team to live like they're on cruise. Come on up out of cruise. You might as well get used to folks talking and complaining and lying on you and everything else. The Bible says blessed, and that word blessed means empowered to prosper are ye, when men shall revile you, persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. That's when you're blessed, folks. Look, you're walking in the calling that you're called to. What man having light would hide it under a bushel? Look, it's so critical in this time that God brought you to the kingdom for such a time, for such a moment as this, in these changing times, in these desperate times, in these days where chaos seems to be the norm. It's because so many that God has so richly gifted are so eager and so they're not only eager, but they're so okay with living life on cruise. Look, come on up out of cruise. Put the car in the gear. Take some risk. Stick your neck out. Reach for the big old grapes. You know, go out on a limb, because that's where the best fruit are. God never called you to live life on cruise. One day, when you're taking those last breaths and you're gasping for breath, one of the worst things that can possibly happen is that regret has you. You see all the things that you could have done, should have done, and all those things that should have been yours, those goals that should have been yours, those championship trophies that should have been yours, the great mentions for it, because of all the innate ability that God gave you, and then he gave you his favor. But you decided to be on cruise. This moment is the times are so critical. We're living in perilous times. God can't afford his army to live life on cruise. Not another moment of cruise living. God's calling you out of cruise and do exactly what he's called you to do. Drive forward and encounter God's best. Be blessed.